The most prominent law of the sea issues that have been raised have really related to passenger vessels, cruise ships in particular, and their access to ports. So in the words of the Law of the Sea Convention, internal waters, and the ability of the states that control those waters to keep those vessels out, or if they do let them in, it's not really a law of the sea issue, but as we've seen in Sydney in particular, what then happens with the people that come off the vessel. The Law of the Sea Convention itself, even though it's a very comprehensive international legal instrument, it doesn't reach into the areas that have really been at the core of the state's concerns for COVID-19. And for those, I mean, the regulation, once you get into areas that are subject to the coastal state's sovereignty, so ports, harbours, canals. So it's just that there's these areas that are very central to ocean transport, both passenger and commercial ocean transport, that the Law of the Sea Convention simply isn't designed to deal with. There's other parts of international law that certainly apply, but also significant amounts of domestic law that are relevant in these circumstances. One is the adequacy of the Law of the Sea Convention to deal with movement of vessels in areas that are immediately adjacent to the coastline. So the territorial sea, as it's described in the Law of the Sea Convention, but also more broadly, any questions about whether movement of vessels should somehow or other be further regulated in ocean regions that are more distant from the coast, and the idea that free and open movement across oceans should be the default position, which has been long held the view that there is this freedom of navigation and freedom of passage that exists. Perhaps that needs to be questioned in cases like this, where there's a pandemic and you know that vessels have a large number of infected persons, or that they've potentially got crew who are ill as a result of this pandemic. I think it raises the issue. And the other one is just look, the whole role and function of the flag state and the requirement that exists under the Law of the Sea for a so-called genuine link to exist between a flag state and the vessel that's registered there. I think we've clearly seen, at least with passenger vessels, cruise ships, that these genuine links are quite tenuous, and that's no surprise. That's been known for quite a long time, but it's really been highlighted by the current pandemic.